Once upon a time in Baghdad, there were two brothers named Cassim and AliBaba. When they grew up, Cassim married a wealthy woman and lived a comfortable life, while AliBaba married a poor woman and struggled to make ends meet. To support his family, AliBaba worked as a woodcutter. One day, while working in the woods, AliBaba spotted a group of men riding horses. He felt uneasy about them, so he told his donkeys to hide and climbed a tree to stay out of sight. As the men arrived, their leader ordered them to stop near a large rock close to AliBaba's tree. The men dismounted their horses, each carrying a big sack on its back. They took the sacks off the horses and carried them on their own backs. The horses were led away, and the men gathered around the rock. From his hiding spot in the tree, AliBaba counted the men. There were 40 in total. Standing in front of the big rock, one of the men called, "Open sesame!" To AliBaba's surprise, a door in the rock swung open. The man entered, followed by the rest of the group. As soon as the last man was inside, the door shut again. "I wish I could climb down and run home," thought AliBaba, "but they might come out soon and spot me." So, he stayed put in the tree. He wondered why he had never noticed the door in the rock before. Who had opened it? Was it an entrance to a cave? He also wondered why the men were carrying those large sacks into it. What could be inside those sacks? Could it be money? Were these men thieves? If that was the case, it would be risky to climb down. But they were taking so long. Finally, the men emerged from the cave without their sacks. The leader commanded, "Close sesame!" And the door in the rock closed. They mounted their horses and rode away. AliBaba quickly climbed down from the tree and approached the rock. He said, "Open sesame," just like the leader had done. The door opened, revealing a cave filled with not only the robbers' sacks, but also gold, silver, jewels, and silks. Knowing he had to act fast before the men returned, AliBaba hurried inside to explore. He discovered that all the sacks left by the men were full of money. He quickly dragged the largest sacks of money to the door. The door had shut behind him when he entered, but when he said, "Open sesame," it opened immediately to let him out. Then he said, "Close sesame," and the door closed. Finding his 3 donkeys didn't take him long. He placed the sacks on their backs, covering them with some wood so no one would notice the sacks. Then he headed home. His wife was surprised when she saw all the money in the sacks. He explained where he had found it, but warned her to keep it a secret. "But where will you store it?" she asked. "I'll dig a hole and bury it," he replied. "Let me see how much there is," she said, reaching into one of the sacks. She grabbed a handful of coins and let them slip through her fingers. AliBaba's wife started to count the golden coins. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. "Stop, it will take too long," said AliBaba. "You will never count them all. There are so many." "You dig the pit and I will go to Cassim's house and ask him to let us have a box to put them in," said his wife. "I want to know how much there is." "Don't tell them why you want it," said AliBaba as she went away. Cassim was not at home. He was at his shop, but his wife was in the house. "What do you want a box for?" she asked. "To put some flour in," replied AliBaba's wife. "And could you let me have a cup as well? I want to see how much we have." "Yes, I will go and get one for you, but you must bring it back after you have used it," said Cassim's wife. As she fetched the cup, she wondered how AliBaba's wife had so much flour without much money. Determined to find out, she applied wax to the cup's bottom. AliBaba's wife returned home with the cup and box, declaring they would calculate their money by filling the cup. They discovered 40 cups fit in the box, and they had 3 sacks of gold. Overjoyed, Ali Baba's wife decided to return the cup. She did not know that a gold coin was stuck to the wax on the bottom of the cup. Cassim's wife soon found it, and when her husband came home from his shop, she said, "Have you any money?" "No," said Cassim. "I did not sell much today." "Ali Baba has some," said his wife. "What are you saying, woman?" said Cassim. "You know Ali Baba has no money." "Aha, he has more than you have," said his wife. "He has so much gold that he keeps it in a big box." Then she told Cassim how she had found this out. Cassim was not at all pleased and went to Ali Baba's house to ask him where he had got the gold. Ali Baba asked how Cassim knew he had money, and Cassim explained how his wife found out. Ali Baba agreed to tell him the secret, but Cassim demanded to be taken to the gold or he would go to the police. Ali Baba then revealed how to find the cave, instructing Cassim to say "Open sesame" to open the door and "Close sesame" to close it. The next day, Cassim rode out with 8 horses to carry as much money as possible from the cave. He found the right spot and said, "Open sesame" to open the door. Inside, he gathered the biggest sacks of gold and jewels. Realizing he couldn't carry more, he needed to leave quickly. However, he forgot the correct password and tried incorrect ones. The robbers arrived, thinking he discovered their secret. They opened the door with "Open sesame," and Cassim tried to escape, but was attacked and left for dead in the cave. That night, Cassim's wife went to Ali Baba and said, "Cassim has not come back. Please try to find him." So Ali Baba went to the cave and found his brother there, nearly dead. He put him on the donkey's back and took him home. "We must not let anyone know about this," Ali Baba said. "We must tell people that Cassim is not well. My wife and I will come to your house to help look after him, but he is hurt so badly that we must get some help." Morgiana, the girl who worked for Cassim's wife, said, "I know someone who can help. He is a wise old shoemaker who has made many sick people better. I shall need some money to pay him, however." The next morning before sunrise, when the streets were empty, Morgiana went to the old man's shop. He always started working early. Morgiana asked, "Can you come to our house? Someone is seriously sick. I will give you money if you help us." The old man asked, "Where is your house?" Morgiana replied, "I can't tell you. You mustn't see it. Close your eyes and keep them closed until we arrive." She guided him to Cassim's house and up to his bedroom. Then she said, "You can open your eyes now. Can you do anything to save this man's life?" The wise old man examined Cassim and sadly said, "This man is very sick, but I will try my best." The old man bandaged Cassim's wounds, made him a special drink and watched over him for many hours. Then he said, "I can do no more to help this man." Then Morgiana said to him, "Thank you for all you have done. Now I will take you back to your shop, but do not tell anyone that you have been here." The old man closed his eyes and Morgiana took him back to his shop. 2 days later, Cassim died. Morgiana ran into the street calling, "My master is dead! My master is dead!" Next day, Cassim's body was taken outside the city and buried. Few days later, the robbers returned to their cave and discovered that Cassim was missing. Concerned about their secret cave being exposed, they decided to find out who took him. One of the robbers volunteered to investigate, and the next morning, he approached an old man sitting outside his shop with a shoe in hand. Curious about the number of customers he received, the robber asked the old man. The old man responded, mentioning that he was recently asked to save the life of a man who had been stabbed, but it was too late to help him. "Lead me to the house you visited," demanded the thief, I'll reward you with gold." "I can't help," replied the man. "A young girl guided me." "Let's try blindfolded," suggested the robber. They arrived at Cassim's house. The robber marked a white cross on the door. He then escorted the old man back to his shop, handed him the bag of gold, and departed. Morgiana noticed a mysterious white cross on their door while shopping. Determined to solve the mystery, she put white crosses on all the other houses. The robber returned to his hideout and informed his companions of the man's house. But the white crosses on other houses made it impossible to identify the correct one. They retreated back to the cave. "This won't do," exclaimed the robber chief. "I must find that house myself." So off he went on his journey, and eventually stumbled upon an old man who showed him the way to the house, just like he had done for the other two men. The chief inspected the house carefully, but didn't mark it with a cross. "I need to come up with a plan," he thought to himself as he returned to his fellow robbers. The next day, he had an idea. "We need to buy big jars, the ones for oil," he instructed his men. "Only one should have oil, the rest must be empty." A robber asked, "Why?" The chief replied, "You will hide in the jars when we put them on the horses' backs. Then I will take the horses to AliBaba's house and ask if we can stay the night. You will stay hidden in the jars until I give further instructions." The robber chief was pleased as AliBaba allowed him to stay the night and helped him with the jars. They had a delicious dinner, and afterwards, the robber went to give water to the horses. While he was in the stable, he secretly spoke to the men in the jars, instructing them to come out when he made a bird call. Meanwhile, Morgiana accidentally blew out her lamp while tending to the fire. Thinking she was the robber chief, the men in the jars asked if it was time. Morgiana, disguising her voice, replied, "Not now, soon." She repeated this for each jar until she reached the last one, which contained oil. She used some of the oil for her lamp and boiled the rest, pouring it into each jar. And just like that, the robbers were defeated. That same night, when AliBaba and Robber Chief were talking, Morgiana came into the room and began to dance. When she had finished her dance, Morgiana went round the room holding out a cup for them to put money into. AliBaba gave her some. Then she came to the robber chief. As he put some money in the cup, she saw that he had a knife hidden in his clothes. Before the robber chief could stop her, she snatched the knife and killed him with it. "What have you done?" cried AliBaba, jumping up. "If I had not done that," replied Morgiana, "he would have killed you. He is the robber chief who came here with the jars of oil to kill all of us." AliBaba realized that Morgiana had made the right decision. In the end, Morgiana married one of AliBaba's close relatives, and they lived happily ever after. Whenever they needed money, they would visit the secret cave and use the robber's treasure. However, they always made sure to share most of it with the poor. Thus everything turned out well for everyone except the robbers. Until we embark on our next journey together, may the tales of ancient legends inspire and guide you. Thank you for joining me on this expedition through the mesmerizing world of AliBaba and the 40 Thieves. Remember to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you won't miss any more extraordinary adventures. Until next time, fellow explorers.